To all who come to this happy place,
welcome.
Welcome.
Well, come in.
Let's put on the show.
Your cadaverous pallor
aloha,
betrays an aura of foreboding.
Hang on to them hats and glasses.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Remain Seated, Please. My name is Robert.
I'm David.
I'm Inthia.
I'm Suzi.
And what are we talking about today, David?
This week, we're going to do top 5 attraction posters. I've had this attraction posters book on our bookshelf at the top of our stairs on the landing, and I kept looking at it for about a week, and I was like, we should talk about attraction posters.
It's a terrific book. It shows nearly every Disney attraction poster that's been done, and they are so beautiful, the attraction posters. If you don't know what an attraction poster is, these are the posters that you see when you enter Disneyland and go under the tunnel where the train goes above you. And they have attraction posters on either side of you. They used to have the attraction posters out in front where the Floral Mickey is. Mm-hmm. Also, when you go through that area on a really crowded day, they'll send you through.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the
livery.
Livery.
The livery.
I never noticed
it's just a bunch of livers.
Yeah. And that's filled with a bunch of attraction posters.
Did you guys say the name of the book? The name of the book is Poster Art of the Disney Parks.
Oh, look, there it is.
Written by
Danny Handke and Vanessa Hunt. Introduction by Tony Baxter.
Yeah.
It's a great coffee table book.
So you mentioned that there are attraction posters in the tunnel underneath the train. Mm-hmm. Could you name them all? Because I took photos of the current attraction posters under there, unless this is as of this past Monday, which was before Galaxy's Edge opened. I don't know if they've added any Galaxy's Edge posters.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on the internet yet, so I'm sure tomorrow.
But as of Monday, there were.
I mean, I can't name them all because they changed them.
Let's try
there's some that are always there. Okay, I'll say on the left side.
Okay.
When you're walking in to the left, I know Tropical Hideaway is the first.
Right.
Then Haunted Mansion.
Yep.
Opposite Haunted Mansion is Pirates.
That's right. You know, this is already too good.
I know. He's just like, you know, when you watch a movie, he is that woman doing the math.
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
in what's it called? In
Hangover.
The Hangover when he does the math. But he's like, yeah.
Now I'm not sure of the placements. I'm going to have to jump to the other side. I know Mr. Toad's
Pirate
on the other side.
Oh, I see. It is.
That's at the end, right?
Yeah. The newer Jungle Cruise is there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not positive what the others are.
So let's round out the left side. This is on the Pirates side of the wall. You've got Matterhorn, Tarzan's Treehouse, Pirates, Utopia. On the Haunted Mansion side, you've got Tropical Hideaway, Haunted Mansion, Indy, and Space Mountain. And then, you remember the old stroller and wheelchair pickup area?
Yeah.
That has attraction posters on it.
That has Winnie the Pooh on
Winnie the Pooh,
it does.
Big Thunder?
Yes.
Small World?
Small World. And...
The only reason I remember Winnie the Pooh is because I think it comes out in Saving Mr. Banks.
It is. You can see it in Saving Mr. Banks.
Oh.
Which is a mistake because it's supposed to be 1960 whatever, and the ride wasn't there till 2003.
I'll tell you that I just noticed this. There's a duplicate. There are 2 Finding Nemo sub
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
I would not.
There's one in the tunnel next to Mr. Toad on the right side tunnel, and there's one on the wall next to Pooh. And then next to Mr. Toad is Star Tours and Jungle Cruise. Like said.
Star Tours.
And then next to Monorail on the Monorail side, it's Alice, Disneyland Railroad, and Utopia. So is Utopia represented twice as well?
You said Utopia twice, yeah.
And it's the same poster.
How's that possible?
There are some that get switched out. On the right-hand side, I remember for a long while they had the Remember Dreams Come True poster, which is a really nice poster.
With the backs of people's heads and the castle and fireworks.
Yeah. Well, why don't we get into it? We're going to do a countdown. Now, I got to say, I don't know about you guys, but this is the toughest top 5 list I've had to do.
This was a nightmare for me.
Even though this is the top 5, I could be persuaded to change this top 5 with a completely different top 5. This is just what I'm going to go with right now. And afterwards, we'll have some honorable mentions and talk about some other ones that are my favorites.
Yeah, we're pretty much probably going to talk about every attraction poster.
Yeah. I don't think at least in looking at that book, I had to keep myself confined to this book. There's maybe one poster that's not in the book that I thought of, because I knew that if I started Googling and looking up online, I would not be able to decide. It would just be too overwhelming.
Yeah.
But in looking at that, I didn't see any posters that I thought, oh, this is a bad poster.
Yeah, there's
definitely some busy ones.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like many of my top 5 are very minimal.
Same.
Yeah.
Those are the best ones, and I try to do a little bit more of a variety to not always be in that style. But the minimal ones of the 50s and 60s are the classic great ones.
Yeah.
So who wants to go first?
Why don't you go first, Robert?
So my number 5 is one that is a pretty rare poster. It's hard to find a picture of it online, but we actually own the poster. It's the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one that they redid for California Adventure in like 2012?
No, the California Adventure one was an all-original one.
Oh, okay.
So this poster, it's a great poster. It's a photo, actually, of the Tower of Terror concept model, and it is stretched slightly to make it even more imposing. And it has a stormy sky in the background with lightning, and it says the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror on top, and below it says take a terrifying ride into another dimension, only at Disney MGM Studios.
Ooh, it says MGM on it, does it?
Yeah, and it's great because it's a photo of the model, but it looks so good, and you could just stare at it for so long. It's in our stairwell, and I look at it, and you can look through the little through the queue where all the winding paths are. You can see all the overgrown trees, and if you look very carefully, where the corridor leads to the lobby, they actually put little people in there.
Oh.
And that's a people.
That's a people.
And that's a people.
That's a people.
I love those little details that they put at the bottom of the posters. Like a lot of the early Disneyland ones usually have the Disneyland Railroad going by at the bottom. It's so really cool.
I love the little slogans or sayings that they have attached to the posters. The tagline.
Yes.
Do you guys remember a few years ago they made some Star Wars parody posters of different Disney
the
attractions?
mashup T-shirts, weren't they? Yeah.
They had them on like
Like it was like a
mugs and-
Utopia looked like it said Tatooine or something
yeah,
like
I think
that.
so. There was one with, there was supposed to be the Storybook Canal, and it was the whatever that big slug thing is.
Sarlacc.
Yes.
Yeah, do you remember I have a set of pins that are Cars characters put into Disney posters.
Nice.
So that's my number 5. Shall we do this poker style?
Whichever way you guys want to go.
Is that what we would call it?
To my left.
Number 5, I have the Jingle Cruise.
Jingle Cruise.
The Jingle Cruise.
That's a great one.
It is inspired by an Adventureland poster, I believe.
It's inspired by the original Jungle Cruise poster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Jungle River Cruise, they call it.
There you go. Okay. Came out in 2013, and they were giving away mini posters to people at Disney World, at Magic Kingdom, and at Disneyland. I couldn't find the artist that worked on it, unfortunately, but I really love that poster with the elephant.
Wearing the Santa hat.
The font work is great.
Also.
There's a little wreath on the Happy New Year is the name of the ship.
Jingle Cruise, jungle all the way.
There it is.
I like that there's a little kid pointing a candy cane like a gun over at the hippo.
I love that they have little hats on. I love that there's snow on.
There's a snowman in the boat. This is great.
It's really cute.
And it's snowing.
And I love that it just is a callback to one of the original posters. And
Yes.
it's a really great poster that I find effective and lovely.
Yeah, the original poster, I guess it was just called Jungle River.
Yeah, what's that about?
Well, I've always seen stuff that it was originally called the Jungle River.
That's
Ride,
why
or
I
the
was
Jungle
like,
River
I don't
Cruise.
think it's it's not Jungle Cruise.
Jungle
and then
River.
it says like Adventureland at the bottom, so I kind of more think that it's more of an Adventureland poster.
Well, all attractions say the land at the bottom, but it says
Yeah.
here on top, for True Life Adventure, ride the Jungle River.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think at one point they would call the Jungle Cruise Jungle River, Jungle Cruise. Several names.
Cool.
But yeah, that is a great one.
Susie.
So for my number 5, I'm gonna go with the Enchanted Tiki Room.
Wait! We forgot to wake up the Glee Club.
I do really like this one, this like original one, I guess, from, I guess 63. Looks like Paul Hartley did the artwork, but I'm seeing this other one from Tokyo. And this artist is actually unknown. It's from 99.
They just found it somewhere. Like, so look, this great artwork somebody made. Let's use it.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's obviously an updated version of.
But I love that these birds are like dressed up.
I like that one wearing the little shawl.
The feathers. I just like the tiki room. I think it reminds me of home. My mom's from Hawaii, so anything that's kind of tropical and has any kind of vibe, Polynesian or any of that, it's enjoyable. I think it's great. It's retro. It reminds me of home.
It has a big tiki totem on the right. It has our 4 masters of ceremonies in their little stand, and I love at the bottom it says, "At the gateway of Adventureland," and the Adventureland is the Great Adventureland font.
That's right.
Can't get any better than that.
I love the attraction posters that have the sponsors on them too.
Me too.
And who is the sponsor for this one?
United Airlines.
That's from Disneyland Gallery exhibit thing that they had. They had a mobile that was a United Airlines one, and I was eyeballing that thing because it had the birds in the same style, but they were more flying, and I really, really, really loved it. If only I could have afforded it.
Let's hear your number 5, David.
So my number 5, this is one of the ones that actually did not swap in there. I know I wanted it in my top 5. It's probably not the best, but it's pretty good. And it's the Tomorrowland rocket jets.
That's a great one.
It's so minimal. It reminds me of the beginning of Catch Me If You Can. I mean, a lot of these do, but something about the way that the font on the rocket jets is, the arrow for the T. Like, they didn't go with the J. It mirrors the J. The T kind of curls back up. It's an orange arrow that points up. I love the 3 rockets with the little arms, just this plain, like, textured blue background. And the colors are so good. I mean, it's really like 5 colors.
The poster's probably better than the ride.
Absolutely. Especially, like, I was like, oh, which version of that attraction was it? And yeah, it was very, like, ugly looking.
It reminds me of the opening credits to Psycho, which are very much
yes.
like Catch Me If You Can with all
or
of
like
that.
Monsters Inc. is kind of like the Psycho opening.
Yeah.
I never thought of that before.
Now it's just like so much more sinister.
Yes. My life. Suzi
that's a
and
great
I love
one.
the end when Mike is telling the jokes in the kids' room. And yeah, I had this, I'll talk about it later in one of my other posters, but when there's multiple versions, and Suzi, you had this with your Tiki Room poster, is that there's so many versions, and it's like, well, I'm not going to have a top 5 of, the Disneyland Railroad. They're all Disneyland Railroad. Right, yeah, so
who made the rocket jets?
Oh yeah, Suzanne.
Ken Chapman, 1967.
Yeah. Do you know the history behind them making these posters? They hired a guy that did the national park posters for basically the U.S. government, and they had him come in, and they didn't even start the attraction posters till 56, and it was just a way to get people to realize there was more to do at Disneyland than just in Tomorrowland. Anyway, so yeah, that's my number 5, the rocket jets.
Terrific. I love all the Tomorrowland ones. My number 4, I have a feeling it could be on someone else's list, but it is the Rainbow Caverns.
I did almost choose it.
It's not on my list.
Oh, I thought it would be on your list.
It's on my
believe
list.
me, it was there.
It's on. Let's put it this way: it's on my list, and I did not plan on taking it out.
Got it.
So the Rainbow Caverns poster, it is so good. It's from Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland, and it goes through the Rainbow Caverns, which was a little cave area that was all dark and black lit, that showed like bubbling pots of water and all that stuff. And the poster shows the train going through the cave with all the colorful caverns and everything, and it looks all blacklit.
Yeah.
So it shows the train going through the caverns, and the conductor is kind of looking back, and it says, "Spectacular Rainbow Caverns with 22 magnificent waterfalls and geysers." And then it says Frontierland on the bottom. And then you see the track going all through the caves. It's black.
I love the use of pink and blue and purple.
Yeah, pink, blue, and purple. I'm colorblind, so I need some help on those.
There's also
kinda-
yellow in there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, there's
it's
some
weird
yellow.
because they're kind of pastel-y, but they're not.
Well, it almost looks like it's a painting of like a blacklight
neon.
painting, like a neon,
Yeah.
neon painting.
It's neon.
So the Rainbow Caverns poster was done in 1956 by Bjorn Arneson. And he did a bunch of attraction posters in the 50s, and I think Rainbow Caverns is my favorite of his.
He definitely has a style that I appreciate, using really minimal colors, and everything's very it's very clean, even though there's a lot of detail in there. It's like simple shapes. And
I think it was the travel poster aesthetic of the time, and that's probably why I believe the book refers to that being the reason that they did those designs for those posters as a way to transport you to other areas of the park.
which is great. I love it.
Yeah, and this poster in particular, you could find a mini version of it at California Adventure. There's a little station wagon out in front of Soarin' over the world now. And in the window there's a little attraction poster for Rainbow Caverns. And also, it's very hard to see, but when they redid the Disneyland Railroad, when you go through that new tunnel from Frontierland to Toontown, if you look closely, they have attraction posters that are pasted on the wall there, and I believe one is the Mine Train. I'm not sure. I mean, there is one of the Mine Train. I believe there's Rainbow Caverns also. It's different Frontierland ones in there.
Yeah.
They are very hard to see because they are not lit at all. They are
And then they're also very weathered into the wall.
but by design, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So what's your number 4, Inthia?
My number 4 is The Primeval World by Claude Coates from 1966.
I may have to take that off my list.
Why would you take it off your list? This is our personal list. Your list can have anything it wants. I just really love it. It is the scene in the primeval world with the T-Rex and the Stegosaurus fighting each other, and then really tiny in the bottom is a train going by. And so there's some plants and stuff, but I just really love this poster, and I love the colors of the yellow, the blue, and the purple, and that green. That green is so appealing, it's kind of ridiculous, but I really love this poster.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites too. It has one of the greatest scenes in Disney theme park history, the Stegosaurus fighting the T-Rex. And it says on top, Santa Fe and Disneyland Railroad journey through the Grand Canyon into the fantastic primeval world. Then on the bottom it says depots at Main Street, Frontierland, Tomorrowland.
The posters for the Disneyland Railroad are so good, because then right next to this one in that book, I believe, is the Grand Canyon. And that is
really
a
good.
really great poster.
Now, I will say, I'm just going to say it. I'm going to skip ahead. My number 3 is also this Primeval World one, so we'll just talk about it now. But I had a hard time choosing between this one or the Grand Canyon diorama, because that one is so good also.
Yep.
I went with the Primeval World because it's dinosaurs, but the Grand Canyon one's just so great.
You know what's also there is the mine train through Nature's Wonderland.
Yeah, it's another great
And that's a really great one too. All of these wildlife, I don't know, they're so good.
Yeah. And, the Primeval World one, you said it was done by Claude Coates, and he's one of my Imagineering heroes.
I know. I got very excited when I saw that he was doing it.
Yeah,
or that he did it.
He was a Disney legend, worked with Walt. He started in the Silly Symphony days, and he did backgrounds for all the movies like Pinocchio and all those classics. And he ended up going to Imagineering, and he was responsible for a lot of classic attractions, mainly Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion. He created the environments, the worlds, and he's one of my favorites. And on the Disneyland 10th anniversary special, Walt walks up to him and they talk a little bit about pirates.
Claude is the Imagineer in charge of the pirate project.
Well, we've been restaging this walking the plank scene, Walt.
But yeah, so that's my number 4 is the Primeval World.
And that's my number 3.
Suzi.
So my number 4 is actually one we own as well. I think your sister gave it to us. It was one of those weird, auction
or like an
things.
estate sale maybe or something like that.
Is it a mini
You
poster or
guys
full
like
size?
Disney?
Mini.
It's like a mini.
We don't have any full size, I don't think.
No. Not up anyway.
We have a great Epcot map.
So anyway, it is a Fantasyland poster, and it has Dumbo on it. The picture is mainly of Dumbo flying, but at the top it says Mad Tea Barty, Dumbo, and Carousel. So it's like all encompassing, and so there's pictures of those
cool.
things, but it's a Fantasyland poster.
One of the classics. That's another good
Yeah,
one.
that was on my list, my preliminary list, and I was like, no, I moved it down somehow. But it's a really great one.
Yeah, it's in our hallway right next to our Haunted Mansion corner.
Yes.
Yeah. I always consider that the Dumbo poster because he's so
I
prominent.
mean, yeah, it very much
yeah.
feels like it.
But they did do an updated Dumbo one in the 70s or 80s.
Where's wearing the little goggles?
Yeah, but it's not as good as this one. This is one of the best.
So I don't know much about this artist specifically. I just love this style, and I know that and interestingly enough, I don't think that he has. I don't know that it would be anything he would ever do, but he does a lot of stuff with Disney. But Shag, the artist, and it's so like, I don't want to say reminiscent of his style because he's a modern person doing this style, but it just all reeks of that like aesthetic.
It is similar. Shag's like a little bit rougher around the edges.
He is, yeah. Well, and it's a little more modern. It's a little like more mod, but it's in that like.
Every Shag piece has a palette that he uses, and he confines himself to those colors, which is what this person, Bjorn Arnson, it does with a lot of his pieces. And he started with the National Parks ones and with all of the Disneyland ones, and I think that's it's so great. And then, I'm sure if we were to ever really look into Shag, I'm sure he credits him somewhere for that, because it's just it's such a good style, especially with the draws you in because you just want to look in every corner.
Yeah, because all the ones done by Bjorn are the classic ones that people remember. They're the most famous ones.
Yeah.
What year was this Fantasyland one done?
55.
The year Disneyland opened. That's a great one.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
It's a really good one.
Well, we're at number 4. Man, I keep moving my list around.
Just commit to your list.
I am. It's just because I was like, well, I totally have that photo downloaded because it's in my top 5, right? And then I don't. And then I'm like, okay, let me download it and put it next to the other ones and double check. This one did not move, though. This is Adventure Through Inner Space.
That's a really good one.
That's another great one.
Automobiles approaching snowflake specimen. All phases stand by to verify resolving power.
It's so minimal, just like my rocket jets.
So good.
The font, it's just like standard Helvetica, all caps. It has the sponsor on it.
I want this print of these atoms on a dress. Like I want a dress with this entire print on it.
And it's a ride I wish I got to go on.
That's right.
Or remember if I have.
And maybe this is a hidden Mickey right here. No, probably not. But
so what does it say on the poster?
Yeah, who designed this one?
No, I mean, what does it say on the poster?
Oh, it says Adventure Through Inner Space, presented by Monsanto, Tomorrowland.
Oh, and who created that one?
John Drury in 1967.
Yeah, that was done for the, that's when the ride came out in 1967, part of the new Tomorrowland.
I love the atoms. I love the Omnimover. What do they call the Adventure Through Inner Space pods?
Atomobiles, I think.
Oh,
Were they?
Atomobiles? Okay, cool.
Oh, it's such a clever name.
Yeah.
I'm like, Adam, because I'm like, well, they're not Doom Buggies, obviously. And Doom Buggies is such a clever name.
Yeah. Somebody pat themselves on the back.
Oh, I would have I would have just added. I'm like, let me pat you too.
You were shrinking. Shrinking.
So yeah, again, it's another one of those like 5-color posters, and it's terrific.
Yeah.
Pink, blue, green, lighter blue, and black.
I like the use of the pink for the restraint bar on these little guys.
Yeah, look at that. I didn't even notice that.
It's such a simple, like, I don't know. I mean, it might not even be the restraint bar, but it's definitely showing you that there's like several pieces to these little cars.
Any poster that features an Omnimover is a good poster in my mind.
And yeah.
All right. Well, my number 3 we talked about. It's Primeval World. Since we did talk about that already, we'll make this short. And since it was talked about, I'll put with that one the Grand Canyon one.
Yeah.
That Grand Canyon one's so good with the little goat at the top.
The Grand Canyon one is just incredible. And, I have a postcard booklet that uses that art, too. It's just so good. Who made that one, Suzi?
It is Paul Hartley.
Paul Hartley.
Paul Hartley. 1958.
Paul Hartley did a lot of great ones. What does it say on there? It says, ride the Santa Fe and Disneyland Railroad, the scenic route around Disneyland via Grand Canyon diorama. And on the bottom it says,
Largest in the world. Like under diorama.
And then on the bottom it says, depots at Main Street, Frontierland, and Tomorrowland. And you got the train in the foreground, all the people are looking, you got...
I like them pointing.
Yeah, you got all your taxidermy animals on their branches, and... so it's one of my favorite moments in all of Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's such a great poster.
Yep.
So that and the Primeval World. It was very hard for me to choose between the two.
They're both so good, and my love of dinosaurs really won out on the Primeval World.
That's why I chose Primeval World initially, too.
Yeah, I mean, I do really love a goat. I love me some goats.
You see, visually, I'd probably go with the Grand Canyon one more. But
Visually?
yeah, but I just
It's
love
this
dinosaurs.
train.
But I just
It's
love
this train.
dinosaurs so much that
you-
God, it's hard to say.
If this train were going in front like this, I feel like that would instantly just like that'd be an amazing plus up to that poster, the Primeval World poster. And then at that point, it's Sophie's choice. You're like, I don't even know.
Well, that's basically what it is right now. Because also you got Claude Coates, who I love, for Primeval World. So it's like, do I go with Claude Coates, dinosaurs, or do I go with the Grand Canyon diorama?
And this color palette is so stupidly gorgeous.
What color is that?
So it has a purple, a pink, and then like a dusty mint color, like a bluish mint.
A pistachio?
Like a pastel pistachio.
Maybe, I don't know. It could.
It's nut colored.
It's just so good.
It really is.
Yeah, they all complement
Let's
each
go
other
on the
well.
Disneyland Railroad right now.
Hello, folks. Welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad.
Inthia, number 3.
So my number 3 is the Spaceship Earth poster from 1980.
That one, it did not make my list either. It didn't make my list, but
It didn't make my list either.
No, sorry.
I was like,
it didn't
what's-
make my list, but I had a very, very hard time keeping that one off.
Yes, it's by Norm
MacDonald.
Inoge. It has the old Spaceship Earth logo on it. I
the
love
icon? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the icons.
I love the use of these blues and these blacks to be the stars in our solar system, and the track essentially of Spaceship Earth going around the actual sphere. And on it, it says, ride the time machine from the dawn of civilization to the beginning of our tomorrow, Spaceship Earth. And there's just something so incredibly 80s and amazing about it.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I've always loved that image of Spaceship Earth. In fact, I have that as my background on my phone for a lot of the time. It also reminds me of that globe they used to keep inside of Spaceship Earth at the end.
The one that's covered up by a curtain?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that poster here, it used to be displayed out in front of the attraction.
I'm going to tell you something. If that mural in the queue of Spaceship Earth, if that was a poster, that would be my number 1.
I love that mural.
I wouldn't even have thought about it. I'm like, number 5 to 1.
Is there a contemporary resort poster that has the...
There is a contemporary resort. We have that one.
Yeah, we do.
Does it have the mural in it?
No.
Yeah, it does.
It does?
I mean, it's not an exact rendition of the mural, but it shows the interior of the contemporary with a design that looks like the mural. Yeah, Spaceship Earth. Oh, I probably shouldn't say this to avoid competition, but I always look on eBay for a Spaceship Earth poster, and they have...
I'm going to look on eBay now, too.
They have some like fake prints, some mini prints, but it's never the exact poster, and it doesn't say that little tagline on it usually. It usually says...
Are you going on eBay right now?
Yeah.
It usually says like October 1st, 1982 or something for like a promo for Epcot itself. But the actual attraction poster is one that I'm always on the lookout for.
and I know this is very much out of left field, but it kind of reminds me of the movie Alien in a very comforting way. Like, I feel like when I read the that tagline, it's being read by the guy who did the voiceover for the trailer for Alien. That you hear, no voiceover, though, or that you hear, what you could hear on the Great Movie Ride.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I imagine the voice was that is saying the little tagline over it. And again,
is Alien. The one with Sigourney Weaver.
Rated R.
I really, really love that poster. I was very surprised at how much I'm like, no, this poster is going to be in my top 5, and how committed I was to that.
I had a hard time not putting that in there.
I had to stick to my guns. I was like, just do 2 passes, and that's it, because you could definitely spiral.
Yes.
On this,
like David.
Yeah. I'm still making moves, baby.
My number 3, I'm gonna choose this Goofy Sky School.
That's a good one.
It is really good for a modern poster too. It looks so good.
Well, yeah, and again, they're all done, I think, within a style, if you will. But it reminds me just so much of all those amazing Goofy cartoons.
Yeah.
That's part of the California Adventure set that they did to make them the vintage attraction posters. They're all so good.
So, I mean, it's just Goofy and his little plane reading a book.
Is it The Art of Flying?
Which I brought a book.
Goofy. It is, I think. The Art of Flight.
Ooh.
Yeah, Goofy Sky School. Learn to fly the Goofy way.
I really love that he's holding on to the little control, the lever, but it's completely broken off.
At Paradise Pier in Roll a Day. So yeah, it is a newer poster, obviously.
Yeah.
I think most of ours will be the older ones, but
well, it's funny because I was doing some research for a future episode, and I looked up, is there a Toontown attraction poster? There is, and it's terrible. So they didn't always do these great retro
The one that's
styles.
in here is pretty good, actually.
Let's take a look at it.
I like it, at least.
Let's see if it's the one I saw.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes, I hate that poster.
I like that one.
No.
It's very of its time.
Yes. I think compared to every other poster in this book, that one stands out.
Minnie's face is weird.
Well, I will say it's not as good as others. You know, there's an interesting story about the this little tangent. If you go to Fantasyland in that book, there is an Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Tea Party poster. One that was made maybe for Tokyo. This one here. And this had a lot of flack because it shows the Mad Hatter standing outside of the teacup, and lawyers are very upset about that.
My gosh.
Because kids might not stay in their little cup. So what was your number 3 again?
Goofy Sky School.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. It was 2010, I believe. Yeah. And it was developed by Greg Malatic.
Good job, Greg.
He did all of those posters, yeah? That whole...
It looks like it, yeah.
2010 redesign.
Wow.
That whole...
That's a fun project.
That's awesome. I think that's why they all... I mean, not to say that they wouldn't all look similar, but they all have the same feel and almost the same... They all come from very similar angles.
My favorite of those would either be Silly Symphonies or The Fun Whale. Probably Silly Symphonies.
I like both. I like all of them.
The Fun was really good.
Yeah. I just, for me, that was also more about not only the poster, the design,
I like
the colors, all of that, but it just reminded me so much of, it just felt like, not authentic, but Goofy had all those funny,
it's goofy.
silly.
And I like that it's written on a pennant too.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
And roll today, as it says in the bottom right corner. David, number 3.
Number 3 is what we're on. Well, I've swapped out. I did have... Now it's People Mover.
People Mover is a
How
great
is
one.
that not ever?
That is a
how was
really
that not
good
on
one.
your original?
Well, it was. I played in a band called People Mover, and one of the first
Shameless
shows, it wasn't even actually. Wait, the poster I'm thinking of wasn't even for a People Mover show. I don't think. There was another band before People Mover called Streets of Rage that designed a flyer for their show off of this People Mover poster. And it was so clever. I thought it was so good. Anyway, I was in a band called People Mover, and there's 2 attraction posters for this. There's the Wedway People Mover and the Disneyland People Mover. And it was one of those Sophie's choices for me. I couldn't pick.
Disney
I went
World
with
one, you mean?
The Disney World, Wedway. Because this one doesn't. This is not Wedway. This is just People Mover at Disneyland.
The Wedway one is really good too.
And the Wedway one they had out in front. Do they still have it? I saw a photo of it in front of the attraction, just like Spaceship Earth was.
Probably not, because it's not called Wedway People Mover anymore.
Oh, that's right. So I went with the more iconic of the two. And again, there's a sponsor on it. So it says People Mover, ride tomorrow's transportation today. And then the People Mover goes by. I love these posters that curl around and show. I almost wish the Grand Canyon poster had the train going somewhere else in it. In the background, and then it says People Mover presented by Goodyear. So it says People Mover on here twice.
To me, the People Mover poster is the most classic, most elegant, and the most famous of all posters.
Oh, am I choosing like the
Basic.
the vanilla version of
No, I
just called you basic.
I had
elegant.
I had a very hard time not putting that in my top 5.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why in a minute.
Oh,
okay.
So yeah, I don't. Again, it's that. Who designed it, Susie?
Ken Chapman, 1967.
Love your work, Ken.
But again, that's part of the new Tomorrowland of 1967.
That's right. Man, it sort of fits. Like when I was a kid, Tomorrowland was my favorite land. Anyway, Robert, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is also in the same style, and I had a hard time picking between this and the People Mover one. I ended up going with the Disneyland Monorail poster.
And it does the same wraparound.
It does the same wraparound. So it shows the Matterhorn in the background, and it has the water of the submarine voyage below it and the rocket in the background. Monorail wraps around, and on top it says Disneyland All-Wig Monorail System. Monorail, first in America. And then on the bottom it says board via speed ramp in Tomorrowland or Disneyland Hotel Station. This is one of my favorite attraction posters, and in 1971 they updated it for Disney World, which is basically the exact same attraction poster, except they replaced the Matterhorn with the Contemporary Resort Hotel.
Clever.
As well as the
Yeah, that becomes the castle, right?
yes.
Yeah.
The rocket in the background becomes Cinderella's castle. That Disney World poster we have at home on our wall.
We do.
I found it at a garage sale.
Nice. Full size?
Full size.
Wow.
Framed. Yeah, that was a great one.
That's a good find.
So this one, the Disneyland Monorail one, was made in 1961 by Paul Hartley.
This updated one from 2008. It's kind of speaking to me.
Yeah, they did update it in 2008, close to when the submarines opened, I think. I really love that one too. It's really good.
I like the whole moon, the evening situation. This, which is inside of the actual cabins. This design at the bottom. And then, yeah, it just looks so nice and serene, but futuristic at the same time with the submarines and
the palm
Space
trees.
Mountain and yeah, that's so great.
Yeah, Monorail has some good posters, but the original Monorail one from 1961, one of my favorites. That's my number 2.
That's so good.
Inthia, number 2.
My number 2 is the Storybook Land canal boats from
That's a good one.
1955.
Is that with Monstro on it?
It
That's
is
a good
Monstro.
Well, he's a whale of a whale.
This was very hard because literally I kind of feel like this should be my number 2. Everything from Fantasyland. I feel like that should be really what it is. But this poster is just so beautiful with this ridiculous, imposing Monstro. We all know what he leads to, that you go out the other end and you see this beautiful attraction with little miniature houses and whatnot. But here he's just eating and he's swallowing up a whole boat of very excited people with like this bright yellow and then the blue and the pink, and those are like the main colors, right? This blue, this green, I don't know, and then the font for Storybook Land is so good. And
This has always been one of my favorites, and again, this was another tough one for me to keep out.
the gateway to enchantment, just go through Monstro. So yeah, I really love this poster, and yeah.
We noticed something on Monday that we've forgotten was even a thing. Do you remember?
The blowhole?
Yeah.
Yeah, that it goes off.
Yeah, we almost I don't know if we just hadn't been paying attention or what, but yeah.
And he slowly blinks.
That's right, yeah.
And yeah, he's so great.
Who made that one?
Bjorn.
Bjorn, our friend
Our
Bjorn.
good pal Bjorn.
Of course. What year?
1955. But yeah, so that's my number 2. Suzi.
My number 2 is also from Fantasyland. It is the Peter Pan
Oh, that's
poster.
delightfully minimal.
Yeah.
Another classic.
I guess it's sort of a Fantasyland poster as well, because it does mention some of the other rides, but the main, focus on this is Peter Pan. I'm assuming it all has to do with the fact that this was at the beginning, so it was more of an introduction to Fantasyland with a highlight of whatever the ride was for that. So it's got the Peter Pan ride, the ship, and it's up in the sky or above the clock tower, and it says enjoy the exciting adventures of Snow White, Peter Pan, and Mr. Toad. And then at the bottom it says Fantasyland in that fun font. There's some variations that are kind of fun, but that I do really actually like the original the best.
Yeah.
I love that blue.
And it's the blue and the pink.
Stars.
It's like
And the pixie dust.
they're all very contrasting colors, but they all really work, and they're all not like bland, but they're all kind of muted, but in a way that I think makes them blend so well.
It's kind of the castle colors, especially right now with the new paint job, which is like that pink and the really deep blue. But
And
our
it
castle's
looks-
always had those colors.
It almost looks like the kid's like in his PJs. It's kind of cute. But anyway, that's my number 2.
That's a great poster.
Did you say who painted that one?
Our good friend Bjorn.
Classic
1955,
Bjorn.
right?
1955.
Right now that we're on this page, this Mr. Toad Wild Ride, really hard to not pull that into my top 5.
Yeah.
It was there. I bumped it down a little bit.
Did you bump it down because it's a new one?
No. I just really, there were others.
What year is
I
that?
felt more.
2008.
Wow.
Mr. Toad never had an attraction poster. It was like the only one that didn't have one.
This
until
poster is
2008.
perfect.
They're
and
like,
it fits
he got
in
mentioned on Peter
perfectly.
Pan. We're good.
It fits in perfectly
It does.
with
It's
the
a
other
great
ones.
It really does. Yeah, it's a good one. Welp. My number 2 is the Skyway buckets.
That's a good one,
And
too.
this,
Another
what's
terrific
funny is when I thought of this, my instinct was to choose Space Station X1, an attraction I don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
But I love the perspective on it. But then the perspective on it is also almost exactly the same as the Skyway buckets to me. So I was like, I'll go with Skyway buckets.
Yeah. That Space X1, I thought it was Soarin'.
Oh, it does look like
Which
the
I think
Soarin'
that'd be
poster a little bit.
amazing.
Yeah. But I remember when I saw the Space Station X1 poster in Pizza Planet, which it may be getting renamed finally or something.
It got renamed.
Okay.
Yeah. It's,
What is it now
It's Alien
officially?
Pizza Planet.
yeah.
Is that just what it's called? Alien Pizza
now it's
Planet?
It was
Like
Pizza Port.
official.
Like
Oh,
they
right,
changed
piece
the
of pork.
sign.
Yeah,
It's all.
that's right.
It's not just a little piece of paper or whatever. It wasn't paper.
Yeah, it was like a tarp that was hanging in
yeah.
front of it. That was so weird. But yeah, the Skyway bucket. See Disneyland from the air. Skyway. And you can see below the Utopia and some dining tables and some shade and the rocket jets. And what's this back here? That's just the depot, the Tomorrowland Skyway bucket depot. And then what's this building down here? Is this like
That looks like where you would
the
get your
Hall
food
of Chemistry or something? But yeah, it's a great poster.
I love the Skyway.
Mm-hmm.
Who painted that one?
Bjorn.
Classic
Our pal-
Bjorn, baby.
Our pal Bjorn.
Bjorn's owning number 2 right now.
Bjorn.
56.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Nice. Number 1.
Dun, dun, dun.
Boberto.
My number 1, which you may be surprised about, is not one of the ones from the 50s or 60s.
Oh.
It's from 1976, and it is The Jungle Cruise.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
This Jungle Cruise poster I have always loved. It was done in 1976 for Disneyland, Disney World, and Tokyo Disneyland. For Tokyo opening, they redid a lot of the classic attraction posters and updated them. So they redid this one. The original was the one with the big elephant that was used for the Jungle Cruise as well. This one, it has in like stone lettering the Jungle Cruise, and there's plants and trees all over. You can see highlights from the ride in there. You see the bull elephant in the background. You see the hippo, the boats in the middle. You got the natives. You got the statue of the idol with the branches going over his head. And then if you look closely, there's like lizards and snakes and butterflies and a vulture there's just so many things to look for and find in there.
There's a lot going on.
And it says Jungle Cruise, explore tropic rivers of adventure. And then in bamboo lettering, it says Adventureland.
This is a busy poster.
It's so busy.
It's very...
Like, I think I saw that one. I was like, well, definitely not that one.
You're so wrong.
There's so much.
He's looking for a Where's Waldo
That's
activity.
exactly what it feels like.
in his attraction poster.
I could look at this one for forever. I just keep finding new
Literally.
stuff.
That's the thing. No. I feel like you would just be,
Like, I could barely see the name of the attraction in that poster.
You're so wrong.
It's a great poster. It's just, there's so much going on with it.
I agree.
And and it upsets me that they updated it again and replaced it with the newer one, which I don't like as much. So, Jungle Cruise, this poster, again, 1976. It was done by Jim Michelson, Ernie Pringshorn, and Rudy.
Of course, it took 3 people.
Lord.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. There's a lot going on. I think it very much encapsulates Adventureland, because Adventureland, there's a lot to it.
Yes.
And when you're looking, you see something new every time. And it's very much that tiki adventure.
Yeah, there's so much detail.
Stuff on stuff on stuff.
The closer you get to this poster, if you get really close, it's like you're in the jungle with them. It's
Those
so
flowers
good.
are very appealing.
Look at the sunbeams coming in. Everything. And we have this in our bathroom.
We do.
Inthia, what's your number one?
My number one is the Alice in Wonderland attraction poster from 1958 by Sam McKim. And it has Alice with a very surprised look on her face.
Oh, that one I see.
And it has the rabbit hole with everything coming out of the rabbit hole and just kind of surrounding her. And I really love the colors on it. Yeah, I just really, really love this poster.
I like how it's all sketches in the background.
I love that they're all in white.
Sam McKim is another classic Disney artist. My favorite thing that he did was in the Pirates of the Caribbean souvenir book, he did the map of the ride.
Oh, okay. This gives you all of the different areas that you go through in the attraction. It says, visit the wonderful world of Alice in Wonderland. Then it says Upside Down Room, Garden of Live Flowers, Mad Tea Party, Through the Keyhole, and the Tulgey Wood.
I wish they still had that Upside Down Room.
What did they
What are you
replace it
talking
with?
about? Oh.
In the ride.
Yeah.
I mean, they redid the whole ride in 83. So.
Oh, I see.
So, like, when you fall down the rabbit hole, is that not the... Oh, no, it's not upside down. Oh, okay.
They used to have a room where it was like a living room, but everything was on the ceiling, like the table and the chairs.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds fun.
No, yeah.
All right, what are we on?
Susie's number one.
Susie, number one.
I'm going to go with the Disneyland Hotel.
It only didn't make it into my top 5 because I was like, it's not an attraction. Let me focus.
Well, I enjoy it.
No, it's a terrific poster. I love the hourglass shape. I love the arrows. I think it also, because the rocket jets had arrows, I was like, one's got to fill that space, and I chose rocket jets. But the arrows, I love them.
Yeah, I just like everything about it.
Well, what else does it say on
retro.
it? It says, stay at Disneyland.
Yeah, read it to us.
Stay at Disneyland Hotel, the convenient, leisurely way to visit Walt Disney's Magic Kingdom. Restaurants, shops, swimming pool, playground, open 7 days a week.
Oh, and the park isn't, so.
Yeah. 5 days a week it was in.
Our good friend Bjorn.
Classic Bjorn.
I love the Disneyland font in that one especially.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That D.
Well,
That's the Disneyland TV show font, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the regular font that they always use, but it just looks extra good there for some reason.
I'm having a little bit of a problem with this H, though, if I stare at it for too long.
Botel.
Well, to me, it looks like a Y.
You go into the botel after
Because
this.
it's upside down, Robert. That's why it
Oh,
looks
okay.
like a Y.
The Disneyland Yotel.
Yeah, no, I just like it has some highlights of the actual park, and then
What's in there? What do you see? The castle?
The castle. It looks like the teacups. It looks more like Casey Jr.'s train than the regular train. Dumbo.
Lots of Fantasyland.
Both trains are in it.
It's just retro. I literally cannot say enough. Like, when I started to really
I love the colors on it for sure.
Yeah, when I started to really think about it, like, we have a couple shag things in the house, and I'm just like, oh my god, if he did, like, if he could totally do some of this stuff because it's all in that like.
Even look at this great
spirit.
one with that like.
Yeah, the concept
guy.
stuff is good
Yeah.
too. All Bjorn.
It's too bad they never
At
made
your
a
service.
Grand Californian poster.
Really?
They haven't?
I've never seen one.
That's very interesting.
So yes, that's a great poster.
Thank
And
you.
I think it was the arrows that kept it out of my top 5 because of the Astrojet.
Oh, I was gonna say you didn't like the arrows. I thought you did.
No, love the arrows.
He just doesn't want it twice.
Got it.
Yeah.
Too many arrows in this top 5.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was like X1 Skyway. I'll choose Skyway. All right. Is it my turn for
Yeah,
number
what's your
one?
number
So
one?
my number 1 was Rainbow Caverns.
Oh. Sorry.
So I bumped up my number 2, The Haunted Mansion. It's as iconic as we were saying. People Mover is like the most iconic attraction poster, which I agree. Haunted Mansion is that for me. The font, the colors, the like faded stamp look on the hitchhiking ghosts is so good to me. It says they've been dying to meet you at the Haunted Mansion, and it's got the Haunted Mansion up on a hill in the background, and then down lower on the hill right in the front is the 3 hitchhiking ghosts in horrifying sight and sound. It says New Orleans Square.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites too. I've always loved how it says in horrifying sight and sound.
Yeah.
The Haunted Mansion logo, or sorry, font.
Yes.
Oh, so good. It is the best, and it's
It's not safe for work for sure.
Recognizable.
Yeah, I mean that either that or the People Mover one are probably the most famous.
Yeah. Who designed this?
Ken Chapman and
Oh,
Mark
man.
Davis.
Ooh. Mark was like, hold on. Let me.
Well, Mark Davis was the one that created the attraction. And
Well, that's why I
think
wanted to have his hand on it.
I think the ghosts are based off his drawings.
Ah, I see. I just love it. Almost looks like, like if you ink a stamp and then stamp it like 4 or 5 times, then they put them on the poster. It's like so
Well,
cool.
I think it's they're materializing.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
But they could have done that in a number of ways.
That's true,
and
very true.
that aesthetic is so cool to me.
And then the Disney World one is just as good. It's the exact same poster, except it's the Disney World Haunted Mansion.
Oh,
And they've added a
And
tree.
They've added a tree, and it's a different color scheme.
The Phantom Manor one, I think, is on the next page. It's really cool too.
Yeah. I kind of wish
Very
that the
spooky, though.
Phantom
It
Manor
is.
one. I
It's
wish it was in the
busy a
same
little bit.
style. That'd be pretty amazing
Yeah.
if it was in the same style.
It's a little busier.
Well-
yeah, that one seems to borrow a little more from the tower posters.
If you go to the Fantasyland section, there's like a digital Haunted Mansion one.
Like an 8-bit.
Their Haunted Mansion poster, it's like the
Is
classic.
that for Tokyo?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like the classic Haunted Mansion poster, but they're all like 3D rendered.
Oh, this one.
Oh, I see.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's not as good, but it's interesting.
So yeah, that one I knew was a pretty predictable choice, which is why it was on my number 2. But it's just so good. It's undeniably good.
Yeah.
That's why I had to go with it for
That
my
was-
number 1.
Like my number 6. It almost made it in. Almost.
I like it. I just don't think I like the colors.
Oh,
You don't like the colors of the Haunted Mansion one?
Wait,
Something
of
about
this
it.
one or the...
No,
The main,
one we're
the
talking
OG.
Oh,
about.
wow. Okay.
Or the color
forward one page,
combination.
Too brown, too green?
I don't know.
it's actually more monotone than most of the posters, and maybe that's what it is. Like other than the
I think you
title.
need something like a little more light.
I mean, I feel like, isn't this the green of like their uniforms? And a lot of them are, I don't know, I like it. A lot of the merchandise.
It would be
in
cool,
this
like maybe if
scheme.
there was like a light coming from in here or something. But yeah, I think I guess. But
I mean, I like it. You're very much right. It's like quintessential attraction poster, but just my opinion.
So what made it into some of our runners-up?
So, as we've been going, obviously you could probably tell I've had a hard time narrowing it down because I love so many of them. But when making my list, these were the honorable mentions that I had a hard time leaving out. One that I really had a hard time leaving out was the Great Movie Ride. The Great Movie Ride poster is incredible. It's the Chinese theater with spotlights behind it, and you see the attraction vehicle with all the people in it rolling towards the theater, and surrounding the vehicle you see characters from the different scenes you're going to go through in the ride. You have Wizard of Oz, you have James Cagney, you have the gangster scene, Indiana Jones, Casablanca, John Wayne, Mary Poppins flying, Mickey as the Sorcerer's Apprentice, and it says the Great Movie Ride, a spectacular journey into the movies.
That into.
Such a great poster. So the other ones that were on my honorable mention was Spaceship Earth, Pirates of the Caribbean, because I love pirates. I love that pirate. Haunted Mansion, the Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland that shows the 4 different scenes and the train going all around it.
Mm-hmm.
Storybook Land with Monster the Whale, and the People Mover.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. My honorable mentions, Haunted Mansion, Enchanted Tiki Room, the Disneyland Railroad, specifically the Main Street Station one. There was also like a red, what is it called?
Red Wagon Inn.
Thank you. Red Wagon Inn. All of those posters I love so much. Caverns, the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
With
the giant
octopus
squid.
or the squid.
The one in the Jungle Cruise style?
The one with the
giant
squid.
You mean the one with the big window?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like that one. Grand Canyon, Tower of Terror, Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland.
Our Tower of Terror one? Or the one that's in the book here?
The one that's in the book here. The newish one.
The California Adventure
2011 one, yeah.
And Mystic Manor.
What's the Mystic Manor poster? I don't remember.
We had it in one of those. We had the calendars with the years.
Calendars have those.
With the months and the days.
And I really. I'm a liar. It's Mystic Point.
Okay, Mystic Point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. Mystic Point.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a really good one. But it has Mystic Manor right in the middle.
Yeah.
So I'm not off.
Sure does.
Yeah. So.
That's a
There's
great
that 20,000 Leagues one.
It's just
That's
so
a good one.
And look at this font.
Yeah.
And we have it on a cup, and it is one of my favorite cups that we have.
Yeah,
It's good.
I like that one a lot too. Susie, do you have any honorable mentions? I would say Autopia also is another.
It was in my
Oh,
honorable
it's just so
mentions for sure.
good.
That's literally what I was about to say.
I don't care for this
So-
Grand Prix one, though. Let this be
Yeah.
known. Official record
I
of
don't
the
mind it.
podcast.
It's very 70s.
I don't like this face.
Autopia was one of them. I feel like it's one of those very classic.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's an all-timer for sure.
So there's also this other poster that Robert won't let me talk about because it's not an attraction poster.
Well, it's runners up. It's fair game.
Yeah, runners up is fair game.
But it is, I guess it was more of a, like, I don't know, promo.
Yeah, probably like something you would find like at a bus stop or something.
But it's for date night at Disneyland. And it's got a couple in front of the train station, and the moon and the stars are in the sky, and it says, "See the Magic Kingdom under starlight." And date night, like that whole like thing vibe, people getting dressed up, like that being their night out, dancing, the fact that they still kind of like pay homage to that whole thing. I just love it. I love the style of it.
Yeah, I've always loved that artwork too.
There's a lot of like Main Street ones. Like there's one with all of the cars, like all the
the Main Street vehicles.
vehicles. I don't know. There's just so many good ones. A lot of the Main Street ones, and again, it's all the railroad run. I feel like a connection to because again, I feel like it's like obvious, but I think it's a color thing. I don't love the colors. Anyway, there are so many good ones. We could go on and on.
Yeah. So what are your honorable mentions, David?
So actually, the Jungle River one was in my and only just to make it a little more variety. The Jungle Cruise one, I again had to choose between the two, but I found it so weird. Why is it called Jungle River and not? It doesn't say cruise on there anywhere. No, it's so weird.
I think it was. That's basically what it was called originally.
I see. Matterhorn has a good one. There's just something with the guy's teeth.
Matterhorn does have a great one, and I thought about it. But because it's so prominent in the monorail one, I went with the monorail.
And Rocket to the Moon was really close to being in my top 5.
Nice.
Obviously, when I mentioned X1, Space Station X1, Rainbow Caverns I pulled out. But, I mean, for the most part, we covered things that were in my...
Yeah. I like that we had, there's so many posters, but we did have some overlap, either in our top 5 or in our honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was able to correct real quick because... I had so many and it was so hard.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just felt like I really had to just stick to my list and go with my gut feeling on it. But easily, yeah, this, depending on how I'm feeling, this top 5 will be completely different next week.
When this episode launches, we're going to be like, that's what I chose for number?
I'm like, no, that's not correct at all.
Why is that even in the top 5?
Because I will say, because it's my favorite ride also, Pirates of the Caribbean, it's the one that gets me the most excited when I see the poster.
Yeah.
But I didn't put it as my favorite because
It's not that great.
I don't like the...
Not that great. It's just not as great as the other ones. That's why it's not in your top 5, let's be honest. That's okay.
Yeah, well.
But then when I was looking through that book, there's a super busy one with like the auctioneer.
I don't like that one.
So there's the auctioneer jumping out. The one that we have is like Blackbeard.
The Disneyland one is the one of just the single pirate.
The one, yeah, that's the one I was.
That's the one at Disneyland.
Okay.
There's another one in this book that has like
everyone on the ride is in it,
basically.
Yeah,
and I think that was done by the same people that did the Jungle.
Wouldn't it be cool if this would be cool if Drew Struzan did a Pirates of the Caribbean poster with different pirates from Drew Struzan's the guy that does the Spielberg posters from the 80s, like the Indiana Jones Back to the Future. Poster. Oh, he did. Oh, okay, that's cool. And did he get to sign his name on it?
Probably,
because he signs his name on all his stuff.
But yeah, that would be neat. If
Drew Struzan should do an attraction poster, I guess, in addition to Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll put each of our top 5s in the show notes, as well as check out this cool background I made for my phone.
Ooh.
That I think looks really cool, and it makes the time pop, I think, really nicely. And it's all of the attraction posters.
Are you going to be sharing that?
I will.
Awesome.
I'll share the clean version of it.
It reminds me of the bathroom. The bathroom wallpaper.
That was exactly what I was thinking about.
What we were talking about is the wallpaper of the bathrooms at the Disneyland Hotel feature attraction posters.
Mm-hmm.
At the Fantasy Tower, it's all Fantasyland attraction posters. Adventureland, or Adventure Tower, Adventureland, and Frontierland.
So if you head over to the show notes at the blog, you'll see what we're talking about. It's just an iPhone lock screen, or you can make it your home screen or whatever, and I'll post up the clean image of it, which is just a ton of attraction posters all laid out.
Thank you so much. It's a really great
cool
wallpaper.
But yeah.
At this book that we've been referencing, the poster art of the Disney parks, right now at Disneyland, you can also get a coloring book version of this book.
Oh, that's fun.
It's mini, though. It's
postcard size.
Yeah, it's postcard size. But they're so detailed, it seems like it'd be impossible to color, but it looks very fun.
Very nice. Well, we would love to hear what your favorite attraction posters are, so let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, do you have anything else, Robert?
No.
Suzi, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at a little sprinkle of Disney.
And Inthia, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me at Magically Delicious Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
And you can find us at Remain Seated Pulse on Twitter and Remain Seated Please on Instagram and Facebook. And you should also rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes and or whatever podcast player you listen to. Well, until next time, I'm David.
I'm David.
What?
No, I'm Robert.
I'm Robert.
I'm Suzi.
I'm confused.
Bye.
Bye.
There. That wasn't so bad. Was it?
I'll see you all a little later.
You may not survive to pass this way again.
Time to be moving along.
Hurry back.
And barrel around to see us again.
Here comes a Tony Danza reference. Even though you're like the 10th anniversary, I'm like starring Tony Danza.
Jungle Cruise, man, my favorite ride.
Oh boy.